Now, as we've been talking about President Trump's trip to Asia, let's take a look at other places where the issue of tariffs looms large. Let's specifically focus in on India, where American levies have been threatening one of the country's most labour-intensive industries, the carpet sector. Well, more than 2.5 million people work in that industry, which had a turnover of some $1.8 billion last year. Well, for generations, artisans have been involved in every stage of the process, from spinning yarns to designing patterns to weaving carpets on power looms before those rugs are exported. But in the past 2 months since tariffs came in, more than 100,000 people have lost their jobs. Well, to explain a little bit more about why and the specific impact on tariffs, let's join Davina Gupta. She's at a weaver's village in Uttar Pradesh where they operate hand looms. Davina, it's always really important to understand the real impacts that political policies have, like these tariffs. Just tell us how they are impacting people where you are.
Well, here you can see the reality of those tariffs, Rajini, and as you can see behind me, this is work which is done by hand, and there are at least 3 million people, as you mentioned, in this region alone doing work. There are women involved in it, there are rural artisans involved in it, and in the last 2 months they have seen their wages going down, orders drying up, and a lot of people have told me when I've spoken to them they had to take loans, and some are even thinking of leaving this craft and going to the cities in search of work, and this has a direct impact on the industry. So to talk more about it, we have with us Mr. Bilal Qureshi, who is a carpet manufacturer. Bilal, thank you for joining us in this village. Just briefly tell us, what have you witnessed in the last 2 months in your trade?
We have witnessed, first of all, I want to let you know that there is we talk that 70% of the stocks is hold. The carpets we have manufactured which were to export, then the carpets are hold. The 70% of the carpets are hold, and because of that the buyers are not paying us. And if the buyers will not pay us, then we cannot pay the artisans that they are weaving in the rural areas and villages.
So America is also a large market for you, isn't it? I mean, 60% of what you produce in India for carpets goes to that country. Is it possible to replace it right now?
No, I think it's not possible, because America is the major importer of the Indian handmade carpets, and 60% of the Indian handmade carpets are exported to America.
So you're not able to replace it because it's such a large industry, and as we have spoken through the day, Rajini, that it employs people who don't know anything else, because this is a generational craft passed down from one generation to the next. So it's also about survival of this legacy. As we just heard from Bilal, that the orders are on hold, and what they're looking for is some clarity on US-India trade deal. The tariffs which have been imposed in India are because India is buying Russian crude, which India says it needs for its own energy security. Then it's also about tariffs on dairy and agriculture sector, which are quite high for US products. Now, we do know that there is some flexibility in that area, but this is a similar conversation that's happening in Asia as President Trump goes from one country to the next. There were hopes that he would be able to meet Prime Minister Modi, and two leaders might be able to announce that they have been able to work out a deal, but so far these are only hopes. We do know for a fact that till the time there is a solution, there are more such labor-intensive industries which are facing similar stories, be it leather, be it textile, and it's the rural economy essentially of India which is seeing a big blow.
In the state of Uttar Pradesh, thank you very much for bringing us real examples of how President Trump's tariffs are hitting